Thank you, Chair Hageman. Appreciate you holding this hearing today. It's a very important topic. I have the privilege of representing California's 47th Congressional District, home to some of the world's most beautiful coastlines, including off the coast of Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, and Laguna Beach. And my district is home to hundreds of great seafood restaurants. I encourage you all to visit fish markets and other businesses that rely on fish supply to meet demand. Now, our commercial fisheries in Orange County are vital to our culinary identity, an important driver of our coastal economy. And so, for example, the local spiny lobster fishery not only provides a popular delicacy, but also supports and has supported generations of fishing families, promoting responsible marine stewardship. Like so many other parts of the country, Southern California's seafood industry is struggling in recent years and even weeks due to a number of factors. In recent years, the availability and pricing of seafood have become increasingly challenging for restaurant operators to manage. Changes in import costs, supply disruptions, and labor shortages have all impacted the stability and operating margins of our regional seafood industries, including forcing restaurants to either adjust their offerings or absorb higher costs. At the same time, with roughly 90% of U.S. seafood being imported from other countries, it's clear that the status quo is not sustainable. Now, in this environment, I know it's tempting to resort to simplistic policies like tariffs and massive deregulation of the industry, but we know from a lot of experience that those policies will be counterproductive. Right now, I'm hearing a deluge of complaints about President Trump's tariffs, which seemingly go up or down, on or off, based on what Trump had for breakfast that morning, and presumably it's not seafood. But those tariffs not only increase the price of imported fish, but also the price of fish exported for processing and then brought back into the U.S. market. Businesses in Orange County and throughout the country are seeing the impacts through higher prices, reduced foot traffic, and dwindling profit margins, which put jobs and livelihoods at risk. Meanwhile, while some regulatory changes are probably appropriate, including ones I want to mention, simply slashing regulations runs the risk of overfishing and depleting on fish stocks. Of course, fishing regulations are some of the oldest regulations in this country's history because fishing creates what we in economics call a tragedy of the commons problem. There are incentives to try to fish as much as possible for any individual or company, but not necessarily to think about sustainability, leading to depleted fish stocks over time. Sustainability is a crucial aspect of fishing, not just as a buzzword, but as a set of practices. And I want to reinforce the point made by Ms. O'Connor in her testimony. Fully funding the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency, or NOAA, is critical for this goal of sustainability. Elon Musk, of course, illegally slashed NOAA's budget, and now President Trump's skinny budget seeks to codify a lot of that by shrinking NOAA's budget by more than $1.5 billion, about 25% below current levels. This would accelerate the negative impacts that local fisheries are already seeing from NOAA cuts, including delayed stock assessments that hinder science-based management and undermine food security. The American seafood industry is one of the best in the world. It's the safest, aided by environmental and labor standards matched by very few foreign producers. But again, having 90% of our seafood come in from other countries is not sustainable. Clearly, we need to think about smart changes. And so I guess my first question is, are any of you familiar with the Norway model of aquaculture? You can just raise your hands. I guess not. In Norway, they've developed a massively successful aquaculture system of facilitating and growing domestic sources of seafood through a model based on sustainability, including through circularity of inputs and outputs, thinking about things like sustainable feeds and recycling, in a virtuous circle where academic research, industry, and the government work together, including through regulatory adaptations to try to promote aquaculture and sustainable fishing. And so actually Norway has become a big exporter of fishing. And so I think they create an example where we could follow here in the United States. Now today, aquaculture contributes to only 7.3% of our total domestic seafood supply, but it's something that I think could be very promising. So we just encourage you all to think about this in this committee, as well as what regulatory barriers might be inhibiting us from thinking about sustainability and a model of aquaculture or anything else. With that, I want to yield back.